Hello loves, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. Today is going to be a lash with me, of course, and this is the look we're going to be going over. Here is a list of lash products I do use. Most of my products are from Veyelash. You are more than welcome to use my coupon code. If you don't want to, that is perfectly fine as well. So the purpose of a lash with me isn't like a full tutorial. It's just, you know, to lash with me. However, I like to chit chat a little bit in the beginning of my videos just to go over maybe a question you guys may have, or just to explain my mapping a little bit. So starting off, I typically always do my spikes before I get on camera. It's just one of the first things I do. And I know you guys can probably see the lash mapping from here. However, I didn't follow this mapping after all. So for my spikes, I used 13 on the inner corner, 14, 15, and then I went back down to 14 and 13 on the outer corner. So for this eye, we're actually doing an open eye. And for me, an open eye is longest basically 2/3 of the way in, and then gets shorter on the inner corner and slightly shorter on the outer corner. Throughout the lash extension world, we've kind of gotten jumbled up with like the eye styles and eye shapes, or not even just jumbled up, but a lot of us call different things different, you know. I guess also depending on what country you live in, even varying from state to state. So for me, and what I've learned is a cat eye is obviously short to long. A doll eye is longest right in the middle, but for some people a doll eye is an open eye, and the style that I'm mentioning now to some people is called a natural eye. But for me, it's an open eye, and my doll eye is longest in the middle. So it can be kind of confusing. That's why I always like to point out what exact shape I'm saying and not just mention the name of the style or whatever, because for some people it may be different. Another thing I want to point out as well is that you guys are actually facing the side of my client. So I put my phone on my tripod that's right beside my client, like my ring light. So the view that you guys are seeing is a completely different view than what I'm seeing. I'm seeing directly head on to my client. I could see all of her layers. I can see all of her lashes very, very clearly. So if it ever looks like I'm not placing a lash correctly, it's because you guys are viewing from a different angle and you're not viewing it from my angle. It's also important to know as well, when I'm isolating, I don't always just use my tweezers. I've never really been able to learn just to use your tweezers. I am a touchy-feely girl. So if I'll gently move the eyelid if I need to. I obviously use these taping methods to help pull apart these lash layers and expose all of these lashes and really, you know, set them apart and things like that. I also gently pull the skin taut with my finger if I need to, if one lash is colliding into another lash and I perfectly can't see it. Or sometimes I'll even place a lash, and even though it's really close to another lash, when I place that lash, I would then go in with my isolation tweezer and make sure that other lash isn't stuck to my lash, if that makes any sense. Now, before we continue talking, I'm just gonna go over the mapping real quick, and then I'll answer one question, and then we'll be done for the day, you guys. So for the mapping, I am using a D-curl, of course. I'm using 0.5, and I'm using in between 60 to 10D. Now, for some people, you're like, girl, that's a mega volume. You know, usually anything over 6D is a mega volume. But I don't know, you guys. Nowadays, a mega volume isn't what a mega volume used to be back in the day, you know? So starting off in the inner corner, I'm going from 9 mm to 10, 11, 12, and then at my very height of my lash line, I'm going to be using 13. Once I hit the 13, I will then be going back down to 12 and then 11 on the very outer corner. So the mapping isn't too complicated, you guys. I feel like if you're having trouble with mapping, you need to write it out. That's basically it. You need to write it out. You need to get familiar with it. And honestly, it would just, after a while, it comes very naturally. You know, a lot of the times things are, I don't want to say very hard in the beginning, because it really varies from person to person. But everyone has those one thing that they're struggling with. And you just gotta keep on trying with that one thing. And then one day, without you even realizing it, it would all be muscle memory. And you're just like, I don't want to say you feel like you're a working robot, but you don't have to, I also don't want to say you don't have to put so much energy into it, because you definitely put your energy in any of your lash sets you do. But it's just, I don't know. It feels like you're just walking on clouds after a while when you're doing lashes. Like you just zone out. It's so peaceful. For me, at least, I zone out and I go. And then by the time I'm done, it's a beautiful lash set. So right here is actually an example of when I apply a lash down and I see that there's another lash. It's a little too close, but it's a little bit harder to isolate. Like I really can't get it. I will place the lash and then go in with my tweezers and separate that lash to make sure that's not touching the lash I just placed down. So time for the question. Somebody asked, if I wanted to start doing lashes, what would you recommend I start with? So the first thing you want to start off with is looking at your state regulations and requirements. Please understand that a certification and a license are two different things. However, for me personally, I don't mind people who are just certified. I do see the issue with it, or like even if somebody who's just going to YouTube University, you know, I do see where the issues can come in play, but I don't make a big deal about it at all. Like I've been in some Facebook groups where they literally attack people who are not properly licensed, even if they're the most amazing lash artists ever. It's crazy. For me, it's never that deep. Yeah, I feel like it's up to the person, up to the client to know whether or not they want to go to someone based on if they're completely certified or completely licensed, you know. But yeah, to me, it's none of my business, you know. I don't care. Now that you know what your state or country requires, then you can go ahead and start looking at the process of lashing. So a lot of the times people will go straight into esthetician school and be like, I'm gonna be a lash artist. They go to esthetician school, spend a crap load of money, and then at the end up hating lashing or don't have enough patience for lashing. So for me, I always recommend anybody who's interested in lashes to buy a beginner's kit first. Buy a beginner's kit first, learn all the information you can on YouTube. Don't take your actual humans yet, because you're still very, very much learning. And you're also learning from the internet and not from like a course per se. So definitely keep to your mannequin for right now. But this is just to ensure that you're actually going to like the process of lashing, that you think that you are able to do it, you know. A lot of the times you want to do something and then you start the process of it, and you may not like it as much as you previously thought. So it's always cheaper to buy a beginner's kit first. Practice a little bit. If you're like, damn, I want to know more, like I need to know more, go ahead and take a course. Take esthetician classes. I will say, specifically, I don't know how every state is, but for Texas, I feel like the esthetician courses, like the lash portion, is trash. The lash portion is definitely trash. I have yet to met another lash tech, especially in my area, who has went to school and has said that they learned so much from lashing. Because I kid you not, I still even feel like, even in the beginning of my own career, I feel like I was learning everything from client to client. I basically just, school just taught me ingredients, what could happen, and how to apply something very simple. They didn't really go into depth with mapping and, you know, all these things. And if they did like do those sort of things, it was always simple in the basics, which is perfectly fine. But it's like a running theme when it comes to cosmetology and aesthetic schools, is that they don't really teach you what's out here in the real world. And that's crazy to me. I feel like cosmetology and esthetician schools are so outdated as of lately. Like, nobody's doing the type of lashes that they used to do 5 to 10 years ago. Nobody is doing the types of hairstyles and hair that they used to do 20 years ago, you know? Nobody's still doing the 1960s makeup that they're teaching these cosmetology students to do. It's absolutely insane to me. But I mean, I really want to, like, never mind. I'm not even gonna go too into that. I could speak all day about beauty schools, but yeah, you guys, definitely buy a beginner's kit first. See if you really even like it. Make sure you have enough patience for it before you go spend thousands of dollars on your education. Well, that's it for me talking, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like this video. It really helps with my YouTube algorithm. Comment down below any questions you may want me to answer in my next video. I always respond to my comments. Excuse me. I always respond to my comments, but I will also answer the question in another video just in case somebody else may have had the same question. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content. And yeah, you guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Have a beautiful, blessed day.